What's up, everybody? This is what my average garage weekend looks like when I'm not doing some racing. So you see I've got all sorts of forms of automotive punishment here. I got the M5 and the 911 are backed out in the driveway, and the reason for that is because I'm pretty much done working on them for the weekend. Yesterday I did a fuel pump on the M5. That wasn't really so bad. I mean, you pull the seat out and just like any other fuel pump. Honestly, I feel like it added about 15 horsepower to the car. I guess the old one was kind of on its way out and I didn't really realize it. So that's nice that that's done. That's been on my to-do list since before one lap. I think I've had the pumps in here in the garage for forever, and I did the work mostly just to get the part out of the garage. Now is my ongoing really pain in the butt project, which is CB 2.0, which is a 2011 Cayenne Turbo. So this replaced the vehicle that you've seen in our very popular Jeep versus Porsche video. I intended that it was going to be the newer, lower mileage, more reliable replacement with all the sweet options. It's got the ceramic brakes, it's got the locking rear diff, which is pretty rare, and it's got the dynamic sway bars, and it also has air suspension, which is why it's about to be up on jack stands again, because the air suspension, which was bulletproof on the first gen Cayenne, has been a huge pain on this one. So right now I have done, I think I actually have the bits and pieces of the struts over here. I've got, yeah, there's one over there in the corner. I've done 3 of the struts so far. The back right bag started leaking, replaced that one. That started leaking when I took it out on the beach for the first time. I used the high level for the first time. And then the back left one was losing air while it was parked. So like you'd come back and it would be a little bit lower than it was supposed to be, it'd pump back up. Then on a trip down to Sebring and back when I raced the 911, I blew out the front right strut, not the airbag, but the actual damper on I-4, which if you've driven on Interstate 4 around Orlando, you know it's like the surface of the moon. So if you're towing a trailer and you hit one of these big bumps at 60 miles an hour, it could, anyways, blew the shock out. So I've now done 3 of the struts. They're not cheap, even though I got Bilsteins, which are not as expensive as the Porsche ones. Then I was having issues with the air compressor was overheating because basically it had run itself to death trying to pump up those bags that were leaking. So now it's got a fresh air compressor in it. The air compressor I got was faulty. The wires were not soldered together correctly. So then I had to replace the wires, which I'm about to touch up one that I did already, but like it's not quite long enough. So that's what I'm about to do now, is to redo one of the wires on the compressor. There was an issue with the pressure sensor in the valve block. So it has this manifold where all the air lines go into and out of that control both the accumulator, which is basically like this little tank that holds all the air, and then all 4 of the struts. And this valve block is what controls air everywhere. And it has a pressure sensor in it, and the sensor had gone bad. So that was causing it to have a fault, and that was making it not work. So now that's been done. I've got to had to actually utilize the local dealer a little bit because there's a lot of stuff that, even though I have Durametric software, it doesn't do everything for the newer Porsches. So he did the test for stuff for me, and like it still doesn't work right. Like you can hook it up to the tester and it'll go up and it'll go down and everything, but if you try to just use a rocker panel switch or whatever to make the air ride go up and down, it doesn't work. So it'll like sometimes go up to normal, sometimes go down to low, sometimes it'll give you a fault. So we still don't really know what's wrong with it. So I'm gonna go and replace the wire because I know that the wire is broken on it. And so basically I'm going to jack up down here, and I'm actually going to solder it in place because removing the pump from the car is, to solder it is more of a pain than it is just to unplug it and do the solder in place. So I'll be doing some upside down soldering underneath the car, but all things considered, not so bad. I actually got to wash this thing too, which I did a big detail on it maybe a month and a half ago, and it hasn't been washed since then. So it's been washed again. Fortunately, it's cooling off some down here in Florida. Look for some more updates. Other cool thing that's going on, the 996 roll bar. I finished painting it yesterday, and Doc of Stitch picked it up. He does some really cool upholstery work. I think he was working on somebody's Subaru yesterday. He is going to do a leather wrap on that roll bar, which is going to look awesome, inspired by the Singer 911s, which is a bit out of my price range, but it's still a bucket list car. Anyways, the 996 I think is going to be awesome when we get this roll bar put in it with the leather. The back seat won't really be usable for space, but now that I have fixed back seats in it, it's not anyways. I think it's going to be a cool look. And of course, the safety of having a roll bar is awesome because I'm doing more track time with it. Not to mention, I'll have somewhere to put harnesses on, so I'll have that nice Schroth harnesses. All right, everybody, hope you have a nice weekend.